Guramagat Dr. Matthews asok the Cura and you August come over Cahargages Lat on Fuss New Amar Cahirli on Christa. Smore on Ahas August and Ordum a vet a rash on Shos a Christa Mar Arat Hiak the real to saw Chul August Idrika. Talan Ibra Tavak to Gayen of Agwin August Tomic Tanulesh on Obershin a Yen of Erwaha or Winter. Cahirlook, I'd like to just thank you for your invitation here today. I'd like to say it is indeed a great honour for me as someone who served on this committee to return to the committee as Minister for this very important portfolio. I do look forward to working with everyone on the committee in a constructive way. We have a big challenge in housing. We may have differences of opinion from time to time, and I actually think that's healthy, and it is. I don't have all the answers, nor does anyone here. But I think working together for the good of our people is what we're charged to do, and that's what I absolutely am committed to doing. What I would say, Cahirlook, you mentioned earlier on, the speech has been circulated. It would take longer than 5 minutes, so I don't intend to go through that with you. But what I would also say to members, if there are elements within it or questions that you don't get to today, please do submit them to us. We will respond or come directly to me. If I could just maybe outline some of the main points. This is the estimate for this full year, and obviously having taken over just at the end of June, there are elements within it which were not under my immediate control for the early part of the year. But we will get another opportunity, I'm sure, when you've gone through and agreed your work programme, that I can come in here and advise you of the government priorities in line with the programme for government, which I'm sure all of you have read cover to cover. If you haven't, you have an opportunity to do it. Deputy O'Brien maybe got someone to do it for him, so or he might have done it himself. But particularly the Housing for All section.
I've read it twice, Minister.
Excellent, excellent. Well, you might get it right the next time. But being serious, we have some very significant challenges. I think all of us, our priority is in the area of homelessness, is to eradicate homelessness, to drive down those numbers, delivering social housing on public land, affordable housing both for purchase and rental, changes in planning and changes in local government as well, reforms in local government which are very significant about how our councillors and how local democracy works. Water, massive issue with regard to water and water investment. If we're going to grow our housing stock and we're going to house our people, we need to deal with the deficit in capital infrastructure and in capital funding in the area of water, both for fresh water and for wastewater. Heritage has come into the portfolio as well, very important part of the role that myself, Minister Malcolm Noonan as Minister for State will be responsible for elements of it. I'll be working very closely with them, and on the planning and local government side, Minister for State Peter Burke will be responsible there also. And included in all of this, like we didn't have enough to do, we also have fire and emergency services and various other elements. It is a very diverse portfolio and an important one. Just to point to a couple of things by way of the opening statement. This year, the department will spend over €5 billion. Significant spend, a significant spend of taxpayers. There's an additional funding amounting to €691.5 million has been included in this estimate, and that flows directly from the July job stimulus that the coalition government of ourselves, the Greens and Fine Gael, announced and are working on since July. A significant portion of that is the €600 million to fund the commercial rates waiver, which businesses across the 26 counties badly needed. That's the waiver from March to September. Within this estimate then, should this estimate, which will be noted and be passed in the Dáil then tomorrow, the dispersal of that €600 million to all of our local authorities will then take place, hence the urgency in this. On top of that, I also announced a €43 million Irish water leakage reduction programme, which has benefited all 31 local authorities in the state with works that are going to be concluded this year. Very important works, and €40 million, the largest voids programme. And what voids are, as most of you will know, is the vacant social housing stock. There's been some vacant for longer than 12 months, a matter that's been discussed in this committee at Cahirli a number of times. But we allocated €40 million for every local authority, targeted to bring in 2,500 local authority homes back into stock, be they occupied, but at the very least allocated this year. So those will be back in stock this year, and it's very important that that does happen. Part of the estimate is another €95 million as well, which has come over as with the Department of Heritage transfer to the department. A critical focus this year has got to be and is the area of preventing homelessness and helping and assisting our homeless community. In 2020, it's envisaged that about 5,500 adults will exit from homelessness into homes utilising the various social housing supports. There's an allocation of 196 million is included in this estimate, and that's up 50 million euro from 2019. This will allow the continued provision of emergency accommodation and supports to individuals and households experiencing homelessness, while also allowing for very importantly, the continued expansion of Housing First for rough sleepers, which is a firm commitment, again, in the programme for government to expand that service. What I have done, members and colleagues, is I have established a homelessness task force made up of chaired by myself, made up of the chief executives of many of the housing charities that you'll be all familiar with, along with my own officials, which meets every single week to focus directly on how we can drive down homeless numbers, to clear blockages in the system, to make sure that bureaucracy does not get in the way of helping people get back housed and homed. Other elements relate to, on the planning side, which is something I have instructed all our approved housing bodies and our local authorities, that our estates should be designed, new developments designed for community, to ensure that we don't have a dearth of 1- and 2-bedroom properties.